Today, I'm going to upgrade the forward lighting on my truck in a huge way. I'm talking about an upgrade to my headlights and an even bigger upgrade to the fog lights. And I'm going to do it all using This video is brought to you by CarLightReviews.com, my new channel and your source for honest and real-world universal vehicle tests and reviews. Headlights, brake lights, and more. If you like this video, you'll love CarLight Reviews. Be among the first to subscribe today. Overall, I really like my second-gen Chevy Colorado, but I'm absolutely not thrilled in any way with the forward lighting. The factory headlights and fog lights are dim, yellow, incandescent, and pretty weak. And for me, that just doesn't cut it. And if you do know me, you know that I love doing lighting upgrades. After all, I do a lot of light testing right here on this channel. And an upgrade on my truck is long overdue. Now, I've had great experiences in the past with Diode Dynamics products. I really like Diode Dynamics as a company. They've been around for well over 10 years, and they design and produce their stuff right here in the United States, Earth City, Missouri to be exact. They just became, a while back, they just got certified to meet the ISO 9001 2015 standard for automotive lighting products, if that means anything at all to you. And I found that they're pretty straightforward and honest about their published specifications in terms of light output. They're pretty accurate as they use industry standard measurements, and not all companies do that. And I say often, there's a lot more to vehicle lighting than just brightness. There's also the engineering and efficient design that uses the light output correctly and effectively, and plus there's quality and warranty and service to consider. Diode Dynamics has all of that, and that's why I went with them when it came to the upgrades for my truck. Now, I'm not going to go into great detail on the specific installation process on my truck, as you probably don't care unless you have the exact same vehicle that I do. And regardless, there's a lot of great installation videos out there already that do a great job showing you what you need to know. In this video, I'm going to focus more on the product details and the results compared to stock, which again, the stock lighting on my truck really sucks. All right, let's go. We need to start with one of the weakest yet most important parts of my factory lighting system, and possibly yours as well, and that is the headlights. And my truck has projector low beams and reflector high beams, and the OEM halogen bulb seems pretty weak when shining through them. I get asked all the time, what's the best LED headlight upgrade? Well, best is subjective. Does that mean best brightness, best projector output accuracy, best reflector output accuracy, best quality, best for the money? Everyone's version of best is different, but either way, I typically say the Diode Dynamics SL1 based on my personal experience with it. Some use brightness as the measuring stick of an LED headlight upgrade, and a lot of LED headlights on the market are overdriven to be super bright. And when that happens, you're sacrificing longevity and reliability in exchange for that brightness, which can also decrease significantly over time due to being overdriven and too bright anyway. Plus, believe it or not, you can go too bright and overpower your factory housings to a level they weren't designed for. That's going to scatter the light, making it pointless for you and dangerous for oncoming traffic, which then becomes dangerous for you. Keep that in mind. I made a video about the SL1 a couple years back, and I'll put a link to it in the description below, but I'm going to do a quick unboxing and give you some specs. The measured lumens of the SL1 is 1630 per bulb, and that is an accurate number. The color temperature is 6,000 Kelvin, and the wattage is 20.2, which I measured at 20.7, 1/2 watt above the published wattage. Most lights I test have a lower wattage than published. It has a polarity-specific plug. The LED emitter is 6 Luxeon ZES chips to replicate the OEM halogen filament location and position, and that is mounted to a copper PCB board. It has a zinc heat sink to draw the heat into the fan, which is a Sunon maglev microfan. And by the way, this does fit behind the shallow Colorado headlamp dust cap. Not many quality lights do. The driver is external and waterproof, and this whole unit does have a compliance rating of the SAE J575 durability test, and the SL1 is patented. When I made the previous video about the SL1, it was before I started doing the lux measurement testing that I do now in my headlight review videos. Check them out if you're new to my channel. Well, now I'm going to show you how the SL1 measures up, starting with how I do my testing. An H11 headlight projector testing rig that I made, a 2018 Ford F-150 reflector headlight. I use this specifically because the Ford F-150 is the best-selling vehicle in America, and 2018 had the highest production number in the past 15 years. a benchtop power supply, and a basic lux meter mounted on my garage wall 20 feet away from where the projector or reflector is that I'll position the LED hotspot on. I measure initial brightness and then again after 27 minutes to see how the heat impacts the light output over time. I use 27 minutes because that's the average commute time in the United States. My tests aren't for lux number accuracy, but for comparison to a stock H11, which measures 550 projected lux and 910 reflected lux when performing the same test that I will on the light featured in this video. And if you want to do the same tests of your own, I put a complete list of the equipment I use in the description. Here we go with my test results. Starting with the projector output, initial light output is 638 lux. That's 88 lux higher than stock, which may not seem like much, but after 27 minutes, it retains a very impressive 91% of that light at 582 lux, still higher than stock, and the lowest output loss over time of any light I've tested so far. It also has a very impressive cutoff. It mimics the stock bulb almost exactly with a very flat cutoff line, only raising edges a little bit, which is common in my projector tests. The SL1 does really good in the reflector when compared to stock, because if you look, both are nearly identical in the light output pattern in the top and bottom areas, and it is a bit fuller on the right-hand side, which is the road side, so a bit more light in that area is definitely helpful. It does arc up a bit on the left side, but once again, this is pretty common in my tests, and it is quite minimal. For temperature, let's talk about that. For reference, stock halogens run about 300 degrees, but the SL1, I measured that with my laser thermometer at 93 degrees for the main unit and 88 degrees for the driver. Make this the coolest LED headlight replacement I've tested so far. The SL1 might not be the brightest LED on the market, but as I mentioned, there's so much more to vehicle lighting than sheer light output. It's still brighter than stock, and it's designed to focus the light output right where you need it in both projector and reflector housings. It's got OEM quality, and it is designed and validated to OEM lighting standards. And when you consider that 91% light retention over time and the incredibly efficient heat management, you now see the results of the engineering behind it, which equals great reliability. Not many lights on the market can make that claim, and that's why I often recommend the SL1 and why I chose it for my truck and this project. You should strongly consider it for yours. Now, I'm not paid in any way to say any of this. This is my genuine recommendation. Now, before I install those, let's talk about some serious lighting power. For the fog light upgrades, I'm cranking the power up to the max. Literally. I made a video about the Diode Dynamics SS3 Pro pod light a little over a year or so ago when I installed them on my Jeep Grand Cherokee. And I'll also include that link to that video in the description below. You should really check it out. But when I bought my Colorado, I ordered up the Diode Dynamics Colorado mounting kit because if you don't know, the SS3 is modular, so you can interchange the mounting systems, which I think they offer them on their website for over 100 vehicles, so chances are they make one for yours. So at the time, Diode Dynamics only offered the SS3 Sport and the SS3 Pro, but they later came out with the incredibly powerful SS3 Pro Max, their highest output pod light. Now, of course, knowing me, I had to order the SS3 Pro Max for my truck. Let's check it out. Here it is. This monster is over 50% brighter than the Pro version. 80 watts of fog cutting power using 4 automotive-grade Osram HX Boost 20-watt LEDs, making it the most powerful 3-inch pod on the market. Now, all of the SS3 light models have a pin-fin heatsink design for superior thermal dissipation, integrated Deutsch-style connector, durable powder-coated aluminum construction, and as I mentioned, they're engineered and assembled in the USA, and what makes them efficient is their TIR optics. By removing these 4 T10 Torx screws, you can change out the optics pretty easy, and then you can get the lenses in the following patterns. SAE Fog has a wide field of view over an 80-degree spread, great for upgrading any factory fog lamp. Now, Spot shines directly from the optic without modification, and the SS3 Max can light things up from well over a half mile, further than any other 3-inch pod light. Driving pattern is great for general illumination. Their SAE-compliant driving optic is available for the Sport and Pro, but the SS3 Max version exceeds the SAE output requirements So yeah, you're not supposed to use that combo on the road. It's still a great option for off-road use at high speeds, such as like rally style driving. Flood pattern has a square 60 by 60 degree spread of light, which isn't diffused. Great for a backup light or for trailers and work sites. And the combo pattern combines the last two together, both the driving and flood optics in a rectangular 65 by 25 degree pattern with flood optic on the bottom side and driving optic on the top. You can also get all the lenses in yellow for cutting through fog, rain, and snow. And for my truck, I ordered the SS3 Max in that combo lens. I wanted to see how well it'd do for fog and rainy situations in the summer, as well as general driving. I also ordered up some yellow combo lenses, which I'll be installing in the fall and winter months, and then switching back to the clear for spring and summer months. And if you don't want to swap the optics, you can get a cover for some applications like this yellow one, or you can also get them in smoke or black version, and that just snaps on and off for the round housing. Again, aside from the incredible power and quality of the SS3, the flexibility really makes it a great light. I can't wait to install it. And by the way, if you don't have a vehicle-specific application in mind, you can just get it within their general configuration, which is universal, and you can mount it just about anywhere. I'm going to quickly show you the differences between the SS3 powers and the lenses. This is the SS3 Pro with the SAE fog wide lens, and as you can see, it's definitely a very wide type of light spread. But let's check out the difference between that and the SS3 Max with the combo lens. And this right here, it looks like it's right around 570, 580 lux, close to 600 depending on where I put the hotspot. So let's just say 600 just for sake of argument. And this is the SS3 Max with the combo lens. And you can definitely see the difference. You can see that high beam style here at the top, and then also the flood on the bottom. In fact, I'll cover up the flood with a piece of black plastic so you can see that high beam, and that's pretty powerful. And where depending on where the hotspot is, it's over 1500 lux. That's brighter than, I think, any LED headlight I've tested. And then the bottom, with the fog added together, puts it at over 2000 lux. 2200 it looks like. I've seen 2300 depending on where I move the hotspot. Let me cover up the high beam part so we can just see just the flood part. And that is definitely a flood. So this thing is the most powerful light I have tested, at least so far. It is really phenomenal. And just for fun, I swapped out that clear combo lens in the SS3 Max with that yellow lens, and it only took me about a minute, minute and a half tops. It's pretty easy to do. Check out the Diode Dynamics website to see how you can do it as well. They show exactly how to do it right. But just for fun, I wanted to see what it looked like, and I don't think the video is going to capture the color quite right, but it definitely works well as a yellow fog light. You can tell it does reduce the light output a little bit. It looks like it's right around 1550, 1570, depending on where I put the hotspot, but that's still plenty of light output for any vehicle. Okay, that covers it for the product details of the important forward lighting. Almost. See, this video is about upgrading the factory lighting, again, for off-road use only, but soon, I'm going to install this. So stay tuned and subscribe for more news on that. But for now, I installed the SL1 headlights and the SS3 Pro Max fog lights that I showed you on just the driver's side, and now I'm going to show you the difference compared to the passenger side, which still has the OEM stuff in it. It's a huge difference. Check this out. Okay guys, this is obviously the OEM stock bulbs. Halogen, pretty weak. I'm surprised that they sold a vehicle with weak headlights like this, but it must have passed testing, so that's all right. But when you compare it to this, the Diode Dynamics stuff, it's a huge, huge difference. I mean, just look at the difference between the two. It's amazing. Especially the SS3, man, that is dazzlingly bright. I can't even capture it with my camera because it's so bright and it's so focused. And it's just amazing. I mean, there's no question, there's just a huge improvement all the way around. And I tell you, I love doing LED light upgrades. I mean, the light is brighter, cleaner, more efficient, Makes my truck look great and modern. I'm going to do the rest of the install on the passenger side and then double check the aiming of the headlights, because as I mentioned, it's pretty important that you do that every time you change your headlights, or at least once a year. And then I'll come back and I'll show you what it looks like all lit up. Stick around. Okay, it's just a little bit later, so it's a little bit darker and the bugs are out, and these things really attract the bugs because they're so bright. But I mean, there's no question. I measured the SL1s to be brighter than stock, and those SS3 Pro Maxes, you can't probably see it on the camera lens because the camera just can't comprehend how bright those things are. But I'm telling you, like, to the naked eye, those things are so bright and so white. It's amazing. So I just transformed the forward lighting on my truck from being boring and underpowered to bright and absolutely useful. And I did it with quality lighting products that are reliable and have correct focus. Now, vehicle lighting is obviously very, very important, both for you to see and be seen, or at least be useful. I often say do it right first and then do it bright second, because a lot of times if you just go for just brightness, you're going to get something that's overdriven and it's not going to last, and it's going to burn out, or it's just going to dim over time because it gets too hot, can't manage the lighting, can't manage the heat. But Diode Dynamics engineering and quality proves that you can probably do both by doing it right and bright. And it's pretty rare in the industry. So for everything that I've shown you today, you can see the links in the description below, or head over to diodedynamics.com, or see your favorite authorized Diode Dynamics dealer. Now, speaking of which, I want to give you guys a quick warning. Typical of high-end products, Diode Dynamics products are showing up on the counterfeit market, unfortunately. So if you're going to buy Diode Dynamics products, make sure you buy them from an authorized Diode Dynamics dealer, or you won't receive warranty support, and you might even receive merchandise that is counterfeit, used, or unfortunately even stolen. So just a heads up, check the Diode Dynamics website for more information on their dealer network, or just give them a call before you buy online just to be sure. All right, enough of that. If you want to see more truck stuff, I got more truck stuff coming. So be sure to subscribe and smack the crap out of that bell like it owes you money. Now, as one more reminder, I did start that new channel dedicated to my universal automotive product testing and reviews. Check it out at carlightreviews.com. It'll take you right to that YouTube channel. Now, I'll still be doing my Colorado and Corvette specific stuff right here, your favorite virtual hangout in Jason's garage. And speaking of which, thanks as always for hanging out in my garage with me. If you like this video and find value in it, please consider supporting this channel in any way that you prefer. Otherwise, I'll see you in my next video. Stay tuned.